G'day, Ching here. So today, this marks the first of my 100 YouTube in 100 days video. And today I want to share something about what to do when your world is very chaotic and just lots of things are breaking down. So right now I'm actually walking in the neighborhood of my friend I'm visiting, so just taking my morning stroll. Last night I saw one of my clients post on Facebook, and she basically migrated to America from Taiwan, and she's the wife of a very senior engineer in one of the tech companies. So I saw that her message was like, lots of things are breaking down, like she's having bone fractures, her job interviews don't go well, and she went for some license test and her ID, she couldn't even use it. And like multiple body part breakdown. So she's kind of like super overwhelmed and stressed out, like not knowing what the F is going on. So basically I reached out because she's, one of my hypnosis clients. So I reached out and we had a call. It wasn't a long call, just 25 minutes, but she said it was very illuminating for her. So I want to share the takeaway she had with you. Hopefully it'll help you. And if you find it helpful, so please click on the like and subscribe button. Okay, I'll leave a comment. Let me know if this has been helpful for you. So first thing, I asked for her permission, right? Because I'm a coach and it's a habit of mine to ask people, are you open for some coaching or are you open for some suggestion? Because oftentimes some people are not ready, but she was ready. So I said, okay. So first distinction you got to understand is when our external world is very chaotic, it's a projection and a reflection of our internal world. Okay, what does that mean? That means if you can imagine your inner world, your thoughts, your behavior, your intentions, your beliefs, all working together like a projector. And this projector would project onto a wall a 3D film. And this 3D film is your external world, what is actually happening in this physical third-dimensional material reality. And I said, look, she said I was walking past and some kids were playing ball and the ball hit my head. I basically had a concussion. She said, I was doing something, I fractured my finger bone, and she was trying to get a job as a translator, and she wasn't successful in that. And also another one is like she was trying to get a broker license for something to sit the exam, and she registered for it for some reason. On the last day, the deadline, she couldn't even use her ID for some really strange reason, really like out of the ordinary reason. So I said, look, you got to realize all of this is actually your subconscious, your deep subconscious trying to send message to you, because our fingers is actually how we go and execute, right? So literally you can't execute. It's telling you to stop because I'm not letting you execute. And then I said, your head getting hit is your deep, your what I would like to call your true self, okay? Your true embodied self, or your divine self, your divine consciousness, hitting your head going, hello, wake the F up. I said, you're getting multiple parts getting hit because it's trying to send message to you. It keeps on trying to remind you to wake you up, to pause, to stop, but you just wouldn't listen. Like you have kind of stubborn and wouldn't listen. So it's literally causing like total breakdown for you. Okay. She said, okay, that makes sense. So what's my advice to her? I told her 3 points, and by the end of it, she was very happy. I said, firstly, you got to slow down and realize, why are you so anxious to trying to get a job or do all these crazy things? Why? Because you got to realize her husband is a very well paid, like senior employee of a big company. So does he need your money? She said, we could do with more, but he doesn't need it. Our family doesn't need it. I said, okay, so what is it inside you that need you to so frantically seek out something? Because I was looking at her Facebook profile and she literally has like dozens of certifications and qualifications she's got. She's hypnotist, quantum hypnosis, energy healing, like dozens. I joke with her, I say, you have more certificates than me. And I love learning. I'm like a learning junkie myself. So she said, okay, and this is the key thing. I'm going to stop here and tell you. This is the key thing. She said, I relate to my self-worth to how successful I am in my career. So think about this. She's a stay-at-home mom to a successful engineer. She has 2 kids and a family to raise. But she relates success to her own work. So even though she may be having a very successful family life, she doesn't see it. Because it's not in her value of hierarchy of values. And that's why she's suffering. So I said, you gotta realize this is your mode, your pattern. You can call it a virus, a subconscious virus conditioning. And these virus conditioning are very insidious because they control you. You think you are prerogative, you have the prerogative, you're doing this and that, you're learning all these things, but really it's all driven out of the fear of not being enough, right? Of like you are raising a family, but it's not enough. And you feel worthless because you're saying, I don't have a job. I don't see what I'm doing here as contribution to humanity. So I'm ignoring this. I'm only focusing on this. So that's the first realization I said. You got to realize to pause and see what is the trigger. What is this impulse to grasp onto something, to constantly collate more information, more knowledge, to get more jobs, to get more validation from society, to recognition. And I think it applies to all of us, not just her. Because this society we grew up in is constantly reminding us of how much we're not enough, right? We're always trying to grasp onto something to make ourselves better. And I think it's a balance. It needs to be a healthy balance between evolving, because humans, we are primed to continue to evolve, but versus like almost like this compulsive need to constantly grasp onto something. There needs to be a healthy balance. And that's why I think it takes practice in awareness, in catching ourselves when we are behaving that way. Okay, so that was my first point to her, just to pause and catch yourself, be more aware. And then the second thing I said to her was that, I'm trying to get the right angle, okay. And then the second thing I said to her was, you have to increase your energy level. What I mean is this. I said, look, you have a family, you got 2 kids in a foreign country, you got a husband and your whole entire household to maintain. It's like a domino effect. I said, even if you successfully got that translator job, but if you're literally, your nervous system is always so overwhelmed with this compulsion, this emotion of I'm not good enough, literally our blood is like flooded with cortisol that way, you know? I said, you wouldn't, even if you got that job, you wouldn't have enough energy to keep it up. And guess what? Once, for example, if you kind of fall short or something, it's a negative spiral downward, because something at your son's school may fall short, schoolwork may fall short, something at your daughter's, and then something in your husband's work might get affected. It's a domino effect. So I say you have to realize it's very important that you keep this rhythm. So my advice to her was to take a couple months just to focus on enjoying in the now. Look at what you have already. Instead of marveling at all these other women who seem to have it all on social media, or think about how much you're not enough because you don't have a paid job, just enjoy this. Enjoy being a leisurely rich housewife. That's what she said to me, actually. She said, oh, okay, great. I'm now gonna enjoy being a leisurely rich housewife because her husband is well-to-do and my family, my kids are lovely. I said, great. That's exactly what you should do. And once you've spent this next couple months, just pay attention to yourself, to your own state of well-being, how you are, how you're feeling. Your body and yourself, your true authentic self will actually start communicating to you. They've actually always been communicating with us, but she just couldn't hear it before because she was so busy in the head trying to get to the next stop. Right. I said to her, the ancient Chinese wisdom of Taoism that's been around for 5,000 years has one of the key tenets in philosophy which I really love, and I'm going to share with you today. Ready? Taoists have been active for 5,000 years, and their wisdom survive because it's really useful. What they say is you flow with nature, flow like nature, 顺其自然, and you flow with the force, 顺势而为. So what does that mean? What it means is when everything, for example, in her instance, if the tide is literally against her, you don't budge your head and try to go against it. You just go with the flow. You say, oh, this big tide is coming. Okay, what do? I don't stick out my head in the ocean and get crashed, right? You just duck and you just preserve yourself. But when there is a tide that comes that you can actually just whoosh, get a big ride, then you go for it. And that can only happen when you have preserved enough energy, when you have allowed yourself the space and the time and the wisdom to kind of bubble from deep within. That's what you got to do. So I said, take your time and enjoy that present moment. Because if you're not enjoying now, you're not going to enjoy when you get there. Because it's not about the destination, it's about that process. And it's kind of like cliched, and everybody knows it, but we all need that reminder. And it's important to go deeper within, because the Chinese have a saying that 静中生慧, that out of the quietness emerges the wisdom. Out of the stillness emerges the wisdom. So that's what I wanted to share. And I actually taught her a breathing method, a Taoist breathing method. And what it does is, it's basically like abdominal breathing. You can, and I'll share it with you now so you can try. When you feel emotion or anxiety come up, like in her case she would, because every time she feels inadequate or anxious, she would want to grasp onto something. So I was telling her, I said, you just sit down, allow your spine to be straight, and you just breathe. Breathe in, and as you're breathing with your nose, you expand your belly, and then as you breathe out through your mouth, you tuck in your belly. So as you're breathing, your abdomen kind of expands like a balloon, and as you breathe out, your abdomen kind of shrinks. So just do this rhythmically, and in the beginning you can do 4 counts, and later on it'll become a very fluid tidal movement where you're just expanding, pause, shrinking, pause, expanding. And as you do this more and more, you will enter like an instant state of stillness, and just so much joy and peace will emerge. And actually, then you will be able to hear the quiet whisper of your true authentic self, your divine consciousness. Okay, so drop me a comment, let me know if this has been helpful, or try out this breathing technique. It's very powerful. It's very simple, but it's very, very powerful. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.